Welcome to Cooking with Grandma. We're cooking one of Grandma's favorite home specialties, and I've asked her to share with all of us some of her secrets. So she's already getting started. Mom, what are you doing?
Well, now I have some water in the pot here. We're going to bring it up to a boil, and then we'll pour in the green beans and cook them just to the texture that you like. If you like them really cooked, then let them cook longer. Otherwise, if you like them to crunch, the key thing is to taste. In these future videos, you'll notice that I do not measure much when it comes to cooking. I do in baking, that's essential. But here, I eyeball and I taste. So, when you're seasoning, start with a small amount, taste, add more if you need to. So don't get frustrated with me because I do not measure a whole lot. So, we'll put the beans into the water and we'll let them cook, and it'll take, maybe 5 minutes. Who knows? As I say, just grab a bean out of the water and taste it. If it's the texture you want, stop. This is for a fairly good, decent crowd, so there's a lot of beans. Now you can use that. These are frozen. You can use fresh as well. Any bean of your choice.
Okay. Good.
I just took a bean out of the pot and I'm tasting it. And it's just got a nice crunch to it. So now I'm going to drain it. Oh, I did forget earlier, I put a bit of salt in the water before I cooked it. So about, maybe a teaspoon of salt or a little bit more. Now I'm going to drain them.
Why is the salt, Mom?
Pardon me?
Why do you put the salt in?
Makes it taste better.
Oh, okay.
I'm just draining the beans. I'm going to completely drain them. Oh, and incidentally too, this can be done hours before your dinner time. Now, we're not probably going to serve these for another 3 or 4 hours, so this is perfectly fine to leave it at this stage.
Good.
And just let them cool. I took a bean out of the pot and I'm tasting it. And it's just got a nice crunch to it. So now I'm going to drain it. Oh, I did forget, we're ready earlier to serve them. I put a bit of salt in the water. I usually put, I cooked it. So about olive oil, maybe a teaspoon of salt or a little bit more. Clump of butter, maybe. Now I'm going to drain them.
Why is the salt, Mom? Why do you put the
pepper,
salt in?
Garlic powder. Make it with garlic powder.
Oh, okay.
Garlic powder. And then you just gently heat the beans. And when completely drain them, heat them to the temperature you want. Oh, incidentally too,
awesome.
this
Mom,
can be done hours before your dinner time, depending on your menu. Now, I have occasionally not probably going to serve these for another 3 or 4 hours. So this is
otherwise your standard ingredients again are?
At this stage, salt, pepper, and garlic powder, almost on everything I cook. I don't put herbs on this, generally speaking, but on just about everything else I do.
You said a little dab of butter?
At a amount like this, I'd say maybe a tablespoon or 2, because butter gives it nice flavor. I usually put just usually when you're doing this amount of beans, you're doing it for company. And so when you have company, you're not really counting calories. Salt and pepper, just garlic powder. Heavy with the garlic. Once in a while, it's nice to enjoy the flavor of butter. And then you just gently reheat them to taste. And when so that's we can leave these now, and we'll let them sit here.
Awesome, Mom.
Another option, and then depending on your menu.
Great. Thanks, Mom.
Occasionally added soy sauce to give it a different flavor. So.
Otherwise, your standard ingredients again are?
Salt and pepper and garlic powder, almost on everything I cook. I don't put herbs on this, generally speaking, but on just about everything else I do.
You said a little dab of butter?
But at an amount like this, I'd say maybe a tablespoon or 2, because butter gives it nice flavor. And usually when you're doing this amount of beans, you're doing it for company. And so when you have company, you're not really counting calories. So just go ahead and enjoy it. And once in a while, it's nice to enjoy the flavor of butter. And I prefer butter to margarine. But anyway, that's taste. So we can leave these now, and we'll let them sit here until the meat's being carved, and then we can just reheat them.
Great. Thanks, Mom.
Okay.